Let us start by paying respect to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Please put your palms together to partake in the offerings to the Buddha. The offering of the 5 items allow us to express our gratitude to the Buddha and serves as a symbol to help us remember the teachings. Please join wholeheartedly and read the verses together. Offering of light. Light symbolizes wisdom. May the light of Dhamma dispel the darkness of ignorance. Offering of incense. Incense symbolizes the fragrance of pure moral conduct. This reminds us to cultivate good conduct. Offering of water. Water symbolizes purity, clarity, and calmness. It reminds us to practice the Buddha's teachings, to cleanse one's mind, which is full of desires, ill will, and delusion, to attain the state of purity. Offering of fruits. Fruits symbolize the ultimate fruit of enlightenment, which is our goal. They also remind us that all actions will have their effects. Offering of flowers. Flowers symbolize impermanence. The freshness, fragrance, and beauty of flowers are impermanent. This reminds us that we should all live in the present. Remembering thus, we should reduce our craving and attachment. Let us pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijacharana sampano sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati sattadeva manusana buddha bhagavati. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Dhamma. Swakato bhagavata Dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipasiko opanyayiko pachatam veritavu vinuhiti. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Sangha. Supatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyayapatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Samichipatipano bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anutaram Punyaketa Lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I hope the puja has helped to quiet your mind down now. Do find for those who've just joined us, do find a seat and settle down comfortably. Before we invite the Bhante out to give us a talk about the debate with a skeptic, let me give a short introduction of the Bhante to you. So Bhante Aparekke Siri Sumana ordained as a Sri Lankan Buddhist monk in 1998. Bhante Sumana obtained his higher ordination in 2007. Bhante graduated from the University of Ruhuna, Sri Lanka with a BA in Buddhist philosophy and obtained his second BA degree in Buddhist studies from the Buddhist College of Singapore. Bhante has also completed his BA in Buddhist Studies from the Mahachulalongkorn Raja Vidyayala University. Currently, Bhante is doing a diploma course in Buddhist counseling at the Dot Connection Grove Center. He's also concurrently teaching early Buddhism basic doctrines to diploma and MA students in Mangala Vihara. So without much ado, let's put ourselves in Anjali and invite Bhante to take his seat in the hall. Let us pay our respect to Bhante first. 3 bows. Bhante, on behalf of the brothers and sisters here, we would like to request for the 3 refuges and 5 precepts.
Namo Buddhaya. Good morning to all of you.
Morning, Bhante.
Say Namo Tassa 3 times to observe 5 precepts. Namo Tassa
Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dhammaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dhammaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Saṅgaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Saṅgaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dutiyaṃ-pi Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dutiyaṃ-pi Dhammaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dutiyaṃ-pi Saṅgaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Dutiyampi Sangam Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyaṃ-pi Buddhaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyaṃ-pi Dhammaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Tatiyaṃ-pi Saṅgaṃ Saraṇaṃ Gacchāmi.
Tatiyampi Sangam Saranam Gacchami.
Pāṇātiපාතා Vēramaṇī Sikkhapadang Samādhiyāmi.
Pāṇātipāta Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Adinādāna Vēramaṇī Sikkhapadang Samādhiyāmi.
Adinādāna Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccācārā Vēramaṇī Sikkhapadang Samādhiyāmi.
Kāmesu miccācārā Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musāvādā Vēramaṇī Sikkhapadang Samādhiyāmi.
Musāvādā Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Surāmēraya majjapamā dattāna Vēramaṇī Sikkhapadang Samādhiyāmi.
Surameraya Majjapamā Dattāna Viramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, Bhante, we'll start with a guided meditation, 10 minutes.
Say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Close your eyes and sit in a comfortable posture. Concentrate your mind and bring it to present moment. Observe your posture from head to toe slowly and from toe to head slowly. It will brings you some sense of calmness as a preparation for Metta Bhavana. Now you can bring your attention to your face right in front of you. You are looking in the mirror and you see yourself sitting here and now. Start kindling loving kind thought in your mind and slowly spread it to yourself. May I be well and happy. May I be well and happy. May I be well and happy. When you started feeling the warmth of metta, slowly spread it out to the universe. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, it is good to see all of you here. Even though it is a Sunday, there are so many ways to spend your Sunday. Yeah? You all decided to come here and be with the Dhamma and learn something from the teachings of the Buddha. Spend some times to develop your inner consciousness, to develop your spiritual well-being. So this is what matters as we were born to a human life. Only human beings can develop their inner consciousness. So Buddhism is the path to develop your inner consciousness. Now, this path was brought to us by the Buddha. And today, our topic also related to developing your consciousness in some certain ways. As you can see, our topic here is Pāyāsi Rājanya Sutta, Discourse on Pāyāsi, the Viceroy. This sutta also known as About Pāyāsi, a debate with a skeptic. Later on, we can unfold why he was considered as a skeptic. As a short introduction, I would like to give you an overview about this classification of Tripitaka. 45 years of teachings of the Buddha considered under when the Buddha was alive as Dhamma Vinaya. In Dhammapada you can see, 𝑦ō-ⵉමස්මින් Dhamma Vinaye appamatto vihessati 𝑝හාය ජාති සංසාරං දුක්ඛස්සන්තං කරස්සති. If someone tirelessly work on this Dhamma Vinaya, he may able to put an end this suffering, birth and death. And some suttas, the Buddha says, Dhammocha desito vinayocha paññatto. Dhamma is the sutric explanation. Vinaya means the promulgation of Vinaya rules. So in ancient time, it was known as Dhamma Vinaya. However, when time passed by, after first Buddhist Council and in between third Buddhist Council, this Dhamma Vinaya divided into 3 baskets. So now we are using our teachings of the Dhamma under these 3 baskets. Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, followed by Abhidhamma Pitaka. And Sutta Pitaka, since we are discussing on a sutta, I would like to elaborate that there are 5 Nikayas. Digha Nikaya, the long discourses of the Buddha. Majjhima Nikaya, middle-length discourses. Samyutta Nikaya, connected discourses. Anguttara Nikaya, numerical discourses. And Khuddaka Nikaya, miscellaneous collection. So having kept this background story inside your mind, we can move to the background of the sutta. So here, as a background story, I would like to provide some information about Digha Nikaya. Digha Nikaya is the content, the long discourses of the Buddha, and there are 34 suttas. Those 34 suttas divided into 3 sections. Sīlakkhandha Vagga, there are 13 suttas. Mahāvagga, there are 10 suttas. And Pāṭika Vagga, there are 11 suttas. In Mahāvagga, you can see Pāyāsi Sutta or Pāyāsi Rājanya Sutta comes as Sutta number 10 in Mahāvagga, the last sutta. And in Digha Nikaya as a whole, 23rd sutta. So now you can remember, right? Sutta number 23 that we are going to discuss. According to the commentator, Venerable Buddhaghosa, there are two main important characteristics he has been found in Digha Nikaya. It is to increase faith in Triple Gem, and also this section mostly dealt the suttas related to conversion of other believers. So according to the sutta name, we are talking about Pāyāsi, and at the beginning I told you that he is a skeptic, which means he is a non-believer. That is why we can see these commentarial ideas are compatible with the sutta, right? And this sutta is a form of dialogue, took place in between Arahant Kumara Kassapa and Pāyāsi, the viceroy. According to the Sumangala Vilasini, Digha Nikaya commentary, this sutta delivered after demise of the Buddha, after passing away of the Buddha. The reason, because even though the sutta start with ēvamme sutaṃ ēkaṃ samayaṃ, once I have heard, it does not go with the traditional manner of Bhagava or the Blessed One staying in some places, which means he has already demises and passed away. Later period, this Venerable Kumara Kassapa preached this sutta and added this sutta into the Digha Nikaya sutta collection. This sutta, devoid of honorific title Maha, at the beginning I informed you that this sutta belonged to the Mahavagga, right? So the reason for this specific Vagga is being called as Mahavagga, because many suttas in this section comes with the honorific title Maha. But all those majority suttas are there with Maha, but in this sutta, Pāyāsi Rājanya Sutta, there is no honorific title called Maha. And we do not know what is the reason this sutta was left out without Maha, right? And now we are going to discuss about a short biography about the two main characters, starting from the Prince Pāyāsi and his skepticism. So Prince Pāyāsi, according to this sutta, is a well-known debater, and he was a skeptic, lived in kingdom of Kosala. He was famous until, because of his fame, the king himself, Prasannajit of Kosala, gave him a piece of land which is in the heart of kingdom of Kosala called Setavya. This is a prosperous piece of land where there are lots of merchants were hanging around. So you can see, because of his fame, king gave this place and also gave him the powers to rule this Setavya area. The sutta also says that he held 3 wrong views. What are these wrong views? No other world. No spontaneously born beings. No fruit of good or evil deeds. Here no other worlds mean after one passing away, break off of this body, there are no other world to go and being reborn. So these are considered as metaphysical questions, metaphysical content, because nobody can verify these 3 things, right? We can't see other worlds beyond the human world and animal world. And we can't see spontaneously born beings. Sometimes there are worms may appear spontaneously when the food is getting rotten. But apart from that, we can't see like spontaneously born beings like divine beings and Brahma beings, right? And we can't see the fruit of good or evil deeds, whether these things will be giving some result in our future life or not. So these can be considered as reasonable questions for those who are not aware about Buddhist teachings and not believing in some philosophical teachings of ancient Indian context. the next character here we are going to discuss about Arahant Kumarakassapa. This is also a very prominent character. Venerable Arahant Kumarakassapa was one of 80 Mahasravakas of the Buddha. The Buddha gave some titles for his monastic members who were having specific qualities and specific abilities. So, what kind of ability do you think Venerable Kumarakassapa was holding? He was foremost in delivering the Dhamma in beautiful way. Now you can see he is foremost in delivering Dhamma in a beautiful way, and his opponent also a fine speaker. He is a good debater. So you can have some idea that the fair fight is going to be happen, right? Because he is a good debater, and Venerable Arahant was also a fine speaker and foremost in delivering beautiful Dhamma. So according to the Edadagga Pali, Anguttara Nikaya, it says that he was given this foremost title among those who with the variegated speech in is Kumarakassapa. So this is something interesting. And even Jinapanjara Sutta, one of the protective blessing sutta in protective verses that we can find, he was given and confirmed this title, Kumarakassapa Nama Mahesi Chitra Vadako. Venerable Kumarakassapa is a fine speaker, a good Dhamma preacher. Now I'm going to give you some shock. Can you see this? He was a son of a Buddhist nun. If I leave this topic behind without explaining, there will be many rumors, right? So, according to the Sutta and according to the commentary, it says, Venerable Kumarakassapa was born to a Buddhist nun. It happened like this. So, in Buddha's time, there was a female devotee who entered to the monastic order without knowing her she is pregnant, expecting a child. She entered to the monastic order with Venerable Devadatta's nuns association, nunnery. So after she started showing some characteristic of her pregnancy, Venerable Devadatta thought this will bring ill reputation for him. So he chased this nun away. And seeking help, she came to the Buddha's nuns order, monastic section. And when the time passed by, she also showed some characteristic of her. She is an expectant mother. So this news came to the Buddha, and Buddha, being a compassionate person, didn't chase away because the Buddha wanted to have reason to find out. Then Buddha appointed Venerable Upali. Venerable Upali considered as foremost in Vinaya practices. And then Venerable Upali decided to have a committee in order to investigate this situation. So as a Buddhist monk, Venerable Upali cannot do this examine by himself. So he chose 3 people. The first one, the main benefactress, Lady Vishaka. The second one, main benefactor, Anathapindika, and the king himself. So nobody can question the authority of this group, right? This committee. You can see how to handle things even according to the proper manner, right? So once they confirmed that she was pregnant, being pregnant before she entering to the monastic order, she was given all the necessities and let her to do her labor as a being a nun. So this is a specific and special case that we find in Tripitaka. So after that, king adopted this son, and at the age of 7, this son called Kassapa wanted to enter the monastic order. And the Buddha also with affection with this kid, right? This novice monk, 7-year-old. You can see how cute these novice monks, yeah? So Buddha also had this affection towards this novice. And one day, once the Buddha received some fruits and sweets, the Buddha distributed with these small monks and nuns. And one day, he received this kind of fruit items, and he wanted to pass it to Kassapa. And he called one of the disciples and asked to pass these fruits for the Kassapa. And there are many Kassapas in this monastic order, because so many monks were under name of Kassapa. Then this monk asked, to which Kassapa I should pass this? And then Buddha said, pass this to Kumara Kassapa, which means the princely Kassapa. Don't you think it is a very nice nickname? Yeah? Princely Kassapa. So you can see the Buddha, even though he is fully enlightened, but he had this affection towards his disciples. Yeah? And this is interesting factor. So this is the short biography of Venerable Kumara Kassapa, and there are so many other informative stories related to Kumara Kassapa's life in commentary that you can read if you have some time later. Now we are going to discuss, since we are having limited time, we are going to the content of the sutta. So in this sutta, the main content here, you can see Arahant Kumara Kassapa visits Setavya. Once he visited, many people heard about his presence. Since he is a very good speaker and had a good reputation, many people wanted to come and listen to Dhamma. In that occasion, Pāyāsi also got to know about this monk is around, and he wanted to go and challenge because he is a worthy opponent, right? So therefore, he also visited and put forward his opinion. What are his opinions? There are no other worlds, no spontaneously born beings, and no karmic action, yeah, the result of karmic action, whether it is good or bad. From this discussion, the moment that discussion started, there are multiple and also very beautiful parables are to be seen. If you have no interest to read suttas, I recommend to start from this sutta, right? So it is not repetitive like almost other suttas, but this one gives some good understanding of interesting aspect of Buddhism, as well as good sense of stories and parables, how to use them in a proper manner. So first opinion of this person was no other world. To negate with this, Venerable Kumara Kassapa comes with this idea. Then he shows, pointing out the sun and asks, do you think this is not other world, the sun? And don't you think sun is a Deva Putta or a sun god? Because this was ancient belief. So he was convinced, yeah, but still I do not believe in other world. Yeah? Then the Venerable Arahant Kumara Kassapa gives another simile, another parable, simile of bandit. He asks a very practical question. Now, what is the reason that you do not believing in afterlife? It's because he says he had done some research. This research is interesting. So he goes to evil people, those who had reputation of doing evil deeds. So when the time they are going to die, this person goes to them and asks, now you are going to die. Your entire life you were spending your time doing evil deeds. According to the teachings of every religion, that those people who do evil deeds, they are going to hell. So if you go to hell, can you come and tell me, yes, you went to hell and the hell is real? But he says, even though he asked so many people, nobody come and confirm that, yeah, there is a hell, exactly there is a hell, and it is taught inside there are many beings are being tortured. Nobody said. And then Venerable Arahant Kumara Kassapa take a very interesting example. Now you see, in kingdom of Kosala, there are some people, they do so many bad things. And the king got to know about this and captured, sent to executioner. So at the executioner, this person says, I want to see my father, I want to see my family members. And what the executioner does to you? Do he going to allow you to go out and see your parents, family members, or executioner will execute you? And the Pāyāsi says, no, I will never receive a chance to stand, right? Surely executioner will execute me. Similarly, when a person is born in a hell, he will be never have an opportunity to come and tell you the hell is real. So, therefore you need to believing in other worlds. But still he refuses. He says, okay, probably maybe hell is real, but I do not believing in heaven. Why? There are so many good people that I know. When the time they are going to pass away, I go to them and ask them, once you are born in heaven, can you please come and confirm that you are born in heaven, that heaven is real? Nobody come and teach me or gives me some understanding about the heaven. And then the Venerable gives another nice answer. Now, if a person who is cleaning the sewer and also living in cessy pits, so they are in with a very dirty conditions. Somebody decided to take them out, clean them, wash them, and use all the perfume and provide good clothes and give them food and ask them to stay in a room. If somebody come and ask, can you go back to the sewer or these pits where there are so much dirt, will he agree to go and indulge in this kind of bad conditions? Then Pāyāsi says, of course, Venerable Sir, nobody likes to go back to the same condition, same environment. Similarly, according to the divine beings, the realm of human are a messy place and smelly place. It is not a proper place for divine beings. That is why they are not coming back and explaining to you that these places are real or not. This is the third answer. And then he tells again, even though I have heard there are many monks and many practitioners, they can communicate with gods. That is true, right? According to the Tripitaka, that we can see those examples that gods came to see the Buddha. So why don't these people, those who are born into this heavenly realm, come and see me? And at that time, another practical answer was given by the Venerable Kumara Kassapa, and he says, the time factor. This is also a very interesting aspect of Buddhist cosmology. Even though he is reborn in a heavenly realm, 33 gods, 𝑡āvatiṃsa, the time factor is another problem. Because once you are born in this heavenly realm, you are indulging with lots of pleasurable experiences. And the time over there is equal to 100 years in human realm is equal to 1 day in heavenly realm. Sometimes when you are on a vacation, you are going to a nice beaches area or nice mountainous areas, right? So you have some times to settle down with your luggages and settle down with your things, and also connecting with the Wi-Fi or buy a SIM card and connect with the outside world. Once you are in a happy place, you are not considering about outside world. You are here to escape from your work life, right? You always turn off your mobile phone or put it in silent mode, right? Similarly, those beings who are entering to these realms, they are not going to come back and tell you. Even though after one day they will come back, there will be no person, right? Because 100 years is the maximum capacity as a human being, or 120. So when the time he decided to come following day, we have born into another life. So this is the fourth answer. And the third one is, this one is a very common answer, that if we are born to be a blind people, we are complaining there are no beautiful colors, there are no sun and moon. Is it a problem of our blindness, or actually does not, these things are actually does not exist outside world? It is a problem of our blindness. We can't say that without, even though we can't see about outside world, things are actually exist or not. It depending on our perception, our capacity. So Venerable Kumara Kassapa advised him to develop his internal object, the mind. And after developing the mind, you will be able to gain some psychic powers to see the world beyond what exists beyond this human realm. So that was his answer. And then, after he was quite convinced about the outside world or the other world, he comes to negate with, I see no soul. He does not see any person who is going to be born. So there are another 10 or 5 examples given here. I will take one example. It is just like, then he explained that he had done some investigation, research work. So according to his research, he says there does not exist, for example, the simile of hot iron ball. According to him, a person when passed away, he become heavier than while he is living. So according to his argument, if consciousness or soul is existing, it must have some weight, right? But it happened according to the another side. Once the consciousness leave the body, body become heavier. It must be in reverse, right? Once the consciousness leave the body, body must be lighter. So this is his argument. And the Venerable gives a very interesting example, that the simile of hot iron ball. The iron, when it is cold, it is heavier. But when the iron being hot, becoming more agitated, the agility is there, you can make it with any, turn into this ball into a weapon or some other items, and also it become lighter. Then the Venerable give this example that consciousness in our body makes the ability of walking and also talking and the flexibility. Similarly, the hot iron also make the similar thing. But once the hotness of the iron ball is disappear, it again become heavier. Similarly, when the consciousness leave, consciousness is a conditional thing, that when the right conditions are there, consciousness exists. Once it is not there, it leaves the human body. And he shows this analogy of proving about the soul or existence of this some certain kind of consciousness. Followed by these all the other examples also gives us some understanding of how to prove the self or something that exists apart from the human physical material realm. There are psychological and realm that exist. So after this conversation ends, he convinced, yet he does not ready to let go of these opinions. Why? Because he was given these lands, properties, recognition, and all those things because of his opinion and reputation of being a good debater. Now he is considering, if he says that he was given up his opinion and he loses to someone, once he loses his reputation as well. So in order to explain why we should not cling into this kind of reputation, the Venerable Kumara Kassapa says, it's just like knowing about the thing that you are doing is wrong, but still because of your reputation, if you want to cling into this wrong views, it will harm yourself and it will bring harm to many of others as well. For example, it says like the simile of a man who carries hemp. There were two people who is wandering village to village, finding something for making their living. So they saw a load of hemp. Hemp is considered as a very rough thing that which can create cloth. But along the way, once they were carrying this hemp, they see silk. One person decided, why should I carry this hemp, which is no use when it compared with the silk? And I want to take some silk. This one person takes silk, but other says, I found this hemp first. I do not want to leave. I want to show some respect for this hemp. And he carries on. And then after the silk, in another village, that person find jewelries, gold. So he thinks, now silk, when it compared with jewelries, are devalued, right? Not in a value. So he decided to take gold. But the other person, he still carry on to this useless hemp because of his ignorance. And then they are going to the next stage in the village, they found gems. The other person decided jewelries are so heavy, gold is very heavy, and gems are, when it compared to, it is not, but it is worth is more than jewelries. Therefore, he want to exchange from these jewelries to gems. But that the person who is clinging into one's opinion, he is still carrying this hemp to his house. And once he reached the house, two families nearby. One family, those who are bringing with the gems, the wife was very happy. And then the other person who is carrying the hemp, the wife was not very happy, right? You both went to a same road, you both found similar things, but you are being stupid. You didn't change your opinion. You never grasp the important thing in your life. So similarly in our lives, when the light is shown in the path, no matter how we are cling into our opinions, as a wise person, we must be always ready to give up wrong ideas and embrace correct ideas. So this is how Venerable Kumara Kassapa encouraged him to leave behind these harmful thoughts and comes with the path of the teachings of the Buddha. So after that, he followed the Venerable Kumara Kassapa, take the refuge and became a Buddhist and started offering dana to many people. So after these offerings and all those things done, after break up his body, he was born into heavenly realm. So this is the story of the sutta. Now we are going to check and see what are the significance of this sutta. And this will be even more interesting. It is because this discussion is quite similar to Milinda Panya. Milinda Panya is one of the text in a Tripitaka that according to Burmese tradition, they are consider Milinda Panya as one of the Kuddaka Nikaya text, but according to Theravada tradition in Sri Lanka, we do not consider, but we consider this is a very good discussion between King Milinda and Arahant Nagasena. King Milinda is from Bactria, or ancient Greek, who came and conquered and started learning the Dhamma. So he was also a debater, and he met Arahant Nagasena and convinced with his teachings. He also became a Buddhist. So when we reads through this sutta, we can see some influences may have occurred in creating this book called Milinda Panya. And there are some similar historical events also to be found in this sutta, that even the Buddha's life also similar. Buddha also confronted with debaters like Sacchaka, 𝑢පාලි and Prince Abhiraja. So we can see the similar things occurring in this Buddhist order again and again, right? So time to time, this kind of things can be found in Tripitaka, and also along the way, the Buddhism was spread to different countries, and how monks face difficulties with this kind of events. And influences on the book of Jātaka. So Jātaka stories were there from the Buddha's time, but it became a book as compiled in Sri Lanka around 14th and 15th century, much later period. But this story, one of the two caravan leaders found in Apannaka Jātaka. We can see the Jātaka stories which related to the examples given by Venerable Kumara Kassapa also. And following the Buddha's advice, when we are going through this sutta, we can see Venerable Kumara Kassapa did not exceed the teachings of the Buddha. Why? It says, showing the weakness even by using harsh words. Venerable Kumara Kassapa, being compassionate towards this viceroy, Pāyāsi, instructed him using some word like, your foolishness will bring you harm. If you look at the world in this foolish manner, so who dares to call foolish for a viceroy, right? But as a compassionate teacher, as a good speaker, he used this harsh word, mild harsh words, to bring happiness for himself out of compassion. So even the Buddha in Tripitaka sometimes has used these terms, the foolish man or foolish person. So Venerable Arahant also similarly used this harsh word in order to show the correct way. Even in Dhammapada it says, Nidīnaṃ pavattārang yang passe vajjadasinang niggahihavāding medāving tādisang panditang bhaje tādisang bhajamanasa seyyo hotina papiyo. We should associate friends, those who are showing our mistake, sometime with harsh words. But using this harsh word, he is doing something positive to change our behavior and bring the goodness out of us. So that is why this, even though some friends of you accusing you and showing your mistakes, you must respect them, yeah? Because they are trying to help you. And using similes to explain. So when we compare with the teachings of the Buddha at the beginning stage, like Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first sutta. And the second sutta was Anattalakkana Sutta. So in these two suttas, only theoretical part. There are no similes. But the time passed, the Buddha adopted this method in order to convince and in order to show the path for the people with using similes and examples. So Venerable Kumara Kassapa also used this method. And the method of answering questions. According to the Buddha, there are 4 methods of answering questions. The first one, directly once a question was asked, then give answer, direct answers. The second method, once the question being asked, asking with countering question, answer to that question. Not just give a yes or no answer, counter question. And the third one is categorical method. Sometimes we cannot say yes or no, we need to elaborate the question. So that is what the Buddha used, the categorical method. And the last one was tapaniya, which is keep in silence. Some questions are better not to talk because it does not bring happiness for the questioner or the person who is giving answer. So there are some questions in Tripitaka. There are some suttas, there are 10 questions, unanswered question, and some suttas there are 14 questions to be found. So Venerable Kumara Kassapa followed the advice of the Buddha. And cruel punishment prevailed in ancient India. So according to some punishments that experiments that this Pāyāsi conducted was skinning people alive in order to find whether there is a soul inside the body. So when he found a people who committed crime, he take him into his custody and started slowly removing outer skin, inner skin, body organs, and they found, in order to find a self, whether there is something exist beyond this material body. So these kind of 32 kind of punishment are mentioned in Tripitaka. And boiling person alive, also another one method. He put a person inside a jar and start fire around this pot. So he was looking for whether when the lid is covered, whether something going out from this body. If it is so, he can see that. So that was his skepticism. Now you can see if he was continuing to be doing this kind of experiments, yeah, his next life would be in a disaster, right? And also he brings unhappiness for many people while he was living. But luckily he met this Dhamma and changed his behavior, and he was able to born in a divine realm. Yeah? So these are 32 punishments. There are 32 punishments. 4 kind of punishment can be found in this sutta. And folk belief, according to the sutta that Venerable asking, showing about the sun, are the sun and moon in this world or another? Are they God or human? So this question belongs to the common folk belief. It is not the understanding or the teachings of the Buddha that the sun and moon are other world or sun and moon considered as divine beings. But in some suttas that we can find, Chandima Sutta and some other suttas, there are some occasions where there are sun and moon considered as divine beings. But it is based on folk beliefs. Yeah? Advice for the alms giving. So when the person is convinced with the Buddhism, the first thing that introduced for him is to offer dana. And dana means it's just not giving something to someone. It is, there is art of giving, right? You give, there are 3 kinds of offerings that people usually do. They sometimes give the things that if the lesser food or rough food, lower food than what they are consuming. So it is okay to start from this small things. And the second stage, giving something to someone, the limit that you are also consuming. Yeah? So if you eat burger, you should give burgers. Yeah? So this kind of the limits. If you are eating hot pot, then you give hot pot for others. And if, in case in the third stage, even though you cannot afford to eat good food, but occasionally you must give the food better than that you are consuming. So that is considered as the greatest thing, because even though you are putting yourself down and you are offering others something which that even you cannot afford. Yeah? So occasionally, not all the time, yeah? You must spend according to your income. Not all the time, yeah? And one should give with gift with careful, thoughtful, and with his own hand, not giving with grudge. So why it is considered in Buddhism giving with one's own hand, preparing whatever you are giving, time consuming? It is because the amount of thought that generate inside your mind when you are preparing for something is longer. It is easy for us to go buy outside and give something. But it is the thoughts moment that you are using for this kind of act is, when it compare with cooking by yourself, is much greater, right? It prolongs your mindset. It prolongs your thought process. So that is why it is considered always offer with your own hand, offer the food that you prepared, or offer something that you prepared as a gift. And the third one here is 𝑎𝑟𝑎ℎ-𝐵𝑒, one of the arahant who visited the divine realm. Once he was born to divine realm, he says, he asked Venerable 𝐺𝐽 to give this message. Now he convinced with this world is real. And one he is sure that the people beyond this realm is existing. Divine beings are real. And the result of the karma is real. Therefore, please go and inform others. So that is how this sutta ends with advising of forgiving alms. And I think I was managed to conclude the session within the time range. So now we are going to the conclusion and Q&A. So in conclusion, that we can see at the beginning I told you, right? The main aspect of Digha Nikaya or these suttas to convert and also convert other believers and also increase the faith. So we can see how this conversion happened and how the increasement of this thought process happened in his life, and it brings benefit for this person. Now it is time for Q&A. Thank you.
Let's say 3 sadhus first. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, so we are open for Q&A now. Do you have any questions? Any questions from anyone?
Thank you, Venerable, for the talk. So based on your talk, actually, I know actually for Christianity, they always go out to convert non-Christian to Christian. So for Buddhism, actually, do we do that, or we don't? Or sometimes there are difficulties in converting, let's say, our parents from Taoist to become a Buddhist, So do we leave it as it is, or we just accept it,
Actually, yeah. In Buddhism, we do not go door to door and do this kind of conversions because we respect others' belief. Yeah? So we respect their personal space. So what we do is when someone is interested, when someone wants to know about the teachings, if they comes to us or if they ask questions from us, we provide answers and we provide guidance. It depending on mostly about the belief system, yeah. So even as according to my understanding, the Christian people, they are doing this conversion as a form of help, right? They think that this is the correct way to live, and when you are converted, you are forgiven and you can be born in a good realm. Yeah, it is not wrong, but according to Buddhist understanding, we are not going to push others. Come and see is our way of preaching Dhamma. You can come and you are welcome, and you can see. If you are convinced, you can stay. If you are not convinced, you can leave. Yeah, so this kind of space being provided. And in one occasion, I heard a very interesting answer for this. This is not my answer, but this is interesting. I would like to quote this. Have you ever seen what is the famous car called? Rolls-Royce in advertisements. They are very hard to see Rolls-Royce advertisement, right? It always comes with ability of persons, capacity of persons, wealthiness, and also it comes with the ability of taking this so-called brand into your life. They are not going to advertise for everybody. They have some targeted audience, right? It says they are opening up their new cars when they are launching a private jet. So who has been invited for Rolls-Royce private jet? Anybody invited? No, right? So because we are not in that class. So similarly, according to that the Dhamma speaker's understanding, we are not going to preach for everybody. If someone thinks it is worth it, come and get it. So this is the simple understanding of our way of preaching Dhamma. Yeah.
So to all the Rolls-Royce here, any questions?
Hello, Bhante. Thank you for the teachings. I wanted to ask for the first proof that there is an other world. After your explanation of all the similes in the suttas, I thought it wasn't still quite convincing yet, because the similes are all, I mean, it's just proof that no one can come back to tell you that there is a heaven or hell. But no one coming to tell you still doesn't prove that there is a heaven or hell. I guess it just proves that neither side I mean, it just can't be proven lah. I thought that's just it. So whether in this modern world I don't know, there are other similes that maybe we can better relate to, or there's another way to explain it.
Yeah, correct. I also agree with your understanding. It is because the time difference in between 2,600 years and the modern day, right? So in our modern day, that we can't use this kind of analogies, right? We all know that it is a planet, it is not a sun and moon. But depending on cultural understanding at that time period, they were negating or debating about depending on their perception at that time. So that is why he was convinced. And the last one, the blind from the birth, is giving a very good answer for your question, that we can't believe anything, right? As once we were born to this world as a blind person, from our birth, we refuse the colors are existing, red, rose, white, brown, black, and any sorts of colors, because we can't see them. And we deny the sun and moon, those things does not exist. It is not because of those things does not exist. Those things are existing, but because of our incapability of seeing those things, we cannot say those things does not existing. That is why in the sutta, finally, after this blind from the birth, Venerable Arahant Kumara Kassapa provides the way of understanding by oneself, developing oneself with meditation and meditation absorptions, the jhanic absorptions, and later you can reach to the stage where different kind of knowledges are existing. So once you gain this kind of knowledge system, you are convinced. Until then, you can be in a level of 50-50, right? Do not go to the extreme that those things exist, and don't go to the extreme that these things does not exist. You can be convinced at any moment. So be an open-minded person. When the time comes, if you can accept it, you can accept it as it is. If not, leave the room for your knowledge to be convinced. Yeah. So this is how that we can elaborate this question in modern time. And if we use the scientific things like all those parallel universe and all those things are nowadays being talked in even in modern science also. But still they haven't been found, but it does not mean that one day scientists are going to find these things. When the technology is up to date, there will be numerous new things in our way. Because 50 years ago, it was impossible to talk to someone with a small piece of plastic, right? But now, after 50 years' time, it is possible for us to not to use even the handphone. You can talk to your watch as well, right? So, it depending on the time, it will come up with technology. Or similarly, when we are developing our inner consciousness, when we are developing our meditative absorptions, probably we may be able to see those things. Until then, you can be an open-minded person who gives room for knowledge. Yeah. So did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have time for one last question. Otherwise, we'll go into dedication of merits and request for blessing from Bhante. Any more questions? All picked up gems and given up hemp, I guess. So, okay, then let's go into dedication of merits and requesting for blessings.
Okay, now we are going to share this merit with divine and protective devas. May devas share this merit. Having shared this merit, may they extend their protection to all of us. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññaṃ taṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu loka sāsanaṃ. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññaṃ taṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu desanaṃ. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devā nāgā mahiddhikā puññaṃ taṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhaṃtu tvaṃ sadā. Abhivādana sīlissa niccang vaddhāpacāyino cattāro dhammā vaddhanti āyuvanno sukhaṃ balaṃ āyurārogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevaca ato nibbāna sampatti imināte samijjatu. Sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.